Exclusive. Is he beat? Tony's rain-soaked Paydirt on next Gold Rush on the next Gold Rush, water, and the annoyance of weather are at the forefront of miner Tony Beat's mind. When it rains, Beats cries pour as the flow of work halts and the grousing, Dutch style, begins. Tony's losing gold-rich pay from the wall cut through his only running wash plant, Mike's trommel, but heavy rain is flooding the cut and stoking the pay. Tony likens the pay to building materials like cement, and if you have ever lifted a bag of dry cement, you know this is not an easy job. In TV shows as exclusive clip, we see that the Dutchman and his crew are moving this wet cement, which means they are not processing gold. Now, Tony is working against stacked fuel costs, labor costs, and time, as the gold mining gods give him the business this season. Water has been an issue for Tony Beats and his crew the entire season. This episode follows last week when a broken trommel plate put a massive dent in the day's pay and gold tally. Tony is driving a colossal dozer and is not happy he is dealing with rain again. But he says, "We can get it, Paydirt, to the feeder that's about it when it turns wet. We are pretty much trying to move wet cement around. That's how bad it gets sometimes." His son Michael explains the situation. "It's hard to get in and out of the cuts because it's so slippery it costs a lot of time, and so it costs Tony a lot of money." Tony won't quit and adds, "Yeah, it's ****ing the rain again, so give it a couple of hours and everything be a soup bowl again, that we gotta deal with it once and for all. Try and make a little ditch, so all the water stays on one side. And unless you drain most of the cut, we're going to pump all the water out, and we're going to put a proper drain in the cut, so we can actually get our Paydirt out of here." Ness has been going hard to bank 2,000 ounces. He shut down his wash plant Monster Red and is in the hole for a couple $100,000. Will he find the best Paydirt under all the overburden he is slinging? He believes the pay field is massive, and his team is still behind him at Rally Valley. Everything is at stake. But the gold mining gods seem to favor the hardworking Ness this season. In addition to watching the series on Discovery, viewers can check out new episodes each week on Discovery Joe. Additionally, viewers can join the conversation on social media by using the hashtag #GoldRush. Exclusive. Is he beat? Tony's rain-soaked Paydirt on next Gold Rush. The air is thick with tension as the rain falls in torrents over the rugged Alaskan wilderness. It's an unrelenting storm, turning the landscape into a muddy quagmire and testing the mettle of every miner out there. In this season of Gold Rush, one name is on the tip of everyone's tongue: Tony Beats. Known for his relentless drive, no-nonsense attitude, and a larger-than-life personality, Tony is no stranger to challenges. But this season, even he seems to be pushed to the edge. In this exclusive preview, we get a glimpse into the high-stakes drama that unfolds on the latest Gold Rush season, as Tony faces perhaps the most brutal conditions of his career. With his reputation on the line, the question on everyone's mind is Tony Beats beat? Can the old-timers' resilience overcome the relentless rain, equipment failures, and an unforgiving environment to hit Paydirt, or has time finally caught up to the king of the Klondike? The storm's fury all begins with a torrential downpour that seems to have no end in sight. The weather in the Klondike is notoriously volatile, but this season, it's worse than ever. The rain transforms the terrain into a slippery, mud-laden nightmare, making it nearly impossible to operate heavy machinery or even get a good prospecting red on the land. While most of the miners are scrambling to keep their operations afloat, Tony Beats isn't backing down. His claim is in one of the wettest areas of the region, and with the downpour turning the land into a soupy bog, it's become a battle just to keep the dredges running. We've been in rainstorms before, but nothing like this, Tony mutters under his breath as he surveys the mess. Everything's flooded, and if we don't get this under control soon, we're done. Tony's frustration is palpable. For a man who has been mining the Klondike for decades, this is uncharted territory. He has dealt with freezing temperatures, mechanical breakdowns, and grueling labor, but this constant rain is wearing him down. The Beets family has built a legacy in the Klondike, and Tony has always prided himself on being able to overcome any obstacle. However, this time, nature itself seems determined to thwart him at every turn. A family divided as the rain continues to fall. The pressure mounts not only on Tony, but also on his family. His kids, who have worked alongside him for years, are beginning to question their father's methods. With the promise of striking it big, tensions running high. Tony's eldest daughter, Monica, has been taking on more responsibility this year, and she's starting to see cracks in the old man's invincible persona. Dad's always been tough, but this season, I don't know. Monica confides in the camera crew. It's hard to watch him struggle like this. He's always told us that we need to be smarter, work harder, but I think the rain's got him in a corner. We don't know how long we can keep going like this. While Monica is uncertain, Tony remains firm. I don't quit. I never have, he retorts when asked about his future. His stubbornness is legendary, but as the rain-soaked weeks stretch on, even he begins to show signs of wear. His once infamous swagger has been replaced by a weary determination. The Paydirt gamble Tony's plan is clear. He needs Paydirt and fast. He's been digging in an area known for its rich gold deposits, but the rains have flooded the claim, and the water table is dangerously high. As the ground becomes more saturated, Tony's team struggles to move machinery and extract gold from the earth. The equipment is bogged down, and the traditional methods he's used to move large amounts of dirt simply aren't cutting it anymore. Time and again, the dredgers get stuck in the muck, forcing the team to call in all hands on deck just to get things moving. The Beets operation is in full crisis mode. What was supposed to be a season of big returns is now a season of survival. Tony's legendary dredges are being pushed to the limit. The rain has created a nearly impossible situation, but Tony refuses to give up. His mantra has always been simple: you can't make money by quitting. But with the crew frustrated and the season winding down, Tony has to ask himself, can he weather the storm, or is he finally out of luck? The rising stakes as the weeks go by and the rain shows no signs of stopping. The team begins to lose hope. Tony's son, Kevin, has always been a steady hand in the operation, but even he is starting to doubt his father's approach. It's like we're fighting a losing battle, Kevin says, wiping rain from his brow. The equipment's failing, the gold's not coming in, and every time we make progress, we get hit with another storm. I've seen Dad handle worse, but this might be the one thing we can't beat. The tension between father and son is palpable. Tony is determined to push through, but Kevin is wondering if it's time to cut their losses. The endless rain has turned into a mental game as much as a physical one. The Beets crew isn't just up against nature, they're up against their own sense of defeat. And yet, Tony refuses to back down. There's something about his stubborn resolve that keeps the crew going, even when it seems like all hope is lost. You don't just stop when things get hard, Tony says, looking out at the muddy expanse of land ahead of him. You push through, and that's how you get the gold. The big reveal in the final moments of the episode, after weeks of grueling work, Tony and his crew finally hit a pocket of gold. It's not the windfall they were hoping for, but it's enough to keep the dream alive, just barely. For Tony, it's a bittersweet victory. He's spent countless hours in the rain, facing down challenges he never expected, but in the end, The gold he recovers might not be enough to turn this season into the success he envisioned. The damage to his operation, both physically and financially, may have already been done. As the camera fades to black, Tony looks out over the land, his face a mix of relief and weariness. "It's not over," he says quietly. "But we're gonna need a lot more than just this to make it worth it." The question on everyone's mind: is Tony Beats beat? After everything that has happened this season, the torrential rain, the equipment breakdowns, the strained family dynamics, and the near collapse of his operation, the question remains: is Tony Beats finally beat? Has the relentless nature of the Klondike finally gotten the best of the seasoned miner? Or will his tenacity and grit be enough to see him through to another season of gold and glory? The jury is still out, and as fans of Gold Rush know, Tony Beats is nothing if not full of surprises. Despite the odds stacked against him, this could just be another chapter in the legendary story of a man who refuses to quit. Whether or not Tony's operation can weather this storm, and whether his family will continue to stand by him as he pushes forward, remains to be seen. One thing is certain, though: Tony Beats isn't giving up without a fight, rain-soaked Paydirt or not. Stay tuned to see what's next for the King of the Klondike on the next exciting episode of Gold Rush.